owners and the management of Walmart.
But you have to be much louder.
All right. It's Black Friday, and I am going to your store not to shop, but to stand in solidarity of your striking workers. I plan to boycott Walmart. Your blatant disregard for family as you market yourself as a place of keepers of family values angers me. But my distress of your policies goes far deeper than that. Requiring your employees to come in earlier and earlier on Thanksgiving Day, balanced with your policies that do not support your employees or their communities and in fact harm both, are at the root of my protest and solidarity.
Okay, just
to
want to know.
quote Francis Moore Lapay, hunger is not caused by a scarcity of food, but a scarcity of democracy. Your policies of greed and indifference have not only caused suffering for your employees and their communities, but also come at a cost to all American taxpayers. We are in fact subsidizing your egregious policies by covering public assistance for your employees. You are America's largest employer, whose average employee earns $8.81 an hour. A third of your employees work less than 28 hours per week and don't even qualify for benefits. And a study in California found that, quote, reliance by Walmart workers on public assistance programs in California comes at a cost to taxpayers of an estimated $86 million annually. This is comprised of $32 million in health-related expenses and $54 million in other assistance. I've got the source there. Walmart earned $16 billion last year. It just reported a 9% increase in earnings the third quarter of 2012 to $3.6 billion, much of which went to Walmart's shareholders, including the family of its founder, Sam Walton. The wealth of the Walton family now exceeds the wealth of the bottom 40% of American families combined, according to an analysis by the Economic Policy Institute. You fail to realize that your employees are also consumers. If you were to analyze your strategies, you would see from a fiscal perspective, never mind a moral and ethical one, that your policies are actually untenable for your own business growth. To quote Robert Reich, as income and wealth continue to concentrate at the top and the median wage continues to drop, it's now 8% lower than it was in 2000, a growing portion of the American workforce lacks the purchasing power to get the economy back to speed. Without a vibrant and growing middle class, Walmart itself won't have the customers it needs. And a new study by think tank Demos reports that raising the salary of all full-time workers at large retailers to $25,000 per year would lift more than 700,000 people out of poverty at a cost of only 1% price increase per customer. For customers. Think about that, Walmart. You could be part of the solution rather than the problem. The strike today brings to the fore your legacy of low wages, unsafe and unsanitary conditions, and sexual harassment. We are entering a time of transparency through social media and the internet. You will not be able to hide this through an expensive PR campaign any longer. Your bad behavior, as well as Papa John's and others, is coming into view, and we will not accept this any longer. I am here to stand with and support your workers for their courage. This strike is not only for them. It is an important step towards rebuilding our economy and empowering those who have been treated as if their voice doesn't matter. It is also a step towards realizing the true cost to communities of your low prices and policies. I call on you to end these valueless policies and join the 21st century in building an economy that is built on policies that can sustain this planet and the people on it.
Woo! Very good! So let's do our vigil with our readings, and I'm going to just read one of the readings and pass it to the person next to you. Read it very loud. You want the manager to hear.
Woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees, to deprive the poor of their rights and withhold justice from the oppressed of my people, making widows their prey and robbing the fatherless. Isaiah 10:1.
We seek economic justice for all workers, not charity. Charity offers crumbs from the table. Justice provides a place at the table. Bill Moyers. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. The Gospel of Luke.
There never has been but one question in all civilization: how to keep a few men from saying to many men, "You work and earn bread, and we will eat it." Abraham Lincoln.
In the richest country in the world, millions of full-time, year-round workers live below the poverty line, struggling to pay for necessities such as food, housing, health care, transportation, and child care.
How does God's love abide in anyone who has the world's goods and sees a sister or a brother in need and yet refuses to help? It's the next to last one.
6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. Exodus 20.
Justice and equality, practicing radical hospitality. These are the age-old commandments from Scripture that continue to breathe new life into our faith communities. These are the practices into which we should be putting our hearts as such, where we should be investing our treasure. For as the Gospel of Luke says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also."
Every strand of biblical faith shows God to be deeply engaged and passionately concerned for economic issues. It does seem that the God of the Bible, contrary to popular religion, cares a great deal about debts, mortgages, wages, and interest, and is preoccupied with the well-being of the poor. Walter Brueggemann, Old Testament scholar.
If you oppress poor people, you insult the God who made them. When kindness shown to the poor is an act of worship.
There is nothing new about poverty. What is new, however, is that we now have the resources to get rid of it. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Woe to him who makes his neighbors work for nothing and does not give them their wages. The prophet Jeremiah.
The mission of Interfaith Worker Justice New Mexico is a statewide network of people of faith and conscience that calls upon our moral, ethical, and theological values to act as allies with workers and their families to advocate for workers' rights and economic justice.
A society that has more justice is a society that needs less tyranny.
So this is the letter that we're going to deliver. Dear Mr. Duke, we are writing to let you know that on this Black Friday, we join thousands of people of faith and conscience who are gathered at Walmart stores across the country in support of Walmart associates and Walmart contracted warehouse workers. We will hold prayer vigils at each of the 3 Walmart stores in Santa Fe, and I list them.
We recognize that this is the biggest shopping day of the year. By the end of the day, Walmart will make millions in sales and profits. The hard-working associates and warehouse workers, however, will go home with barely enough to make ends meet because Walmart does not pay their fair wages. Others have been required to leave their homes to work on Thanksgiving Day.
Many of your workers live in or near the poverty level and depend on charitable and public services to support themselves and their families. There is no reason for those who work at your stores and your contracted warehouses to go without basic necessities such as food and shelter.
Walmart has more than 8,917 in 2010 statistics stores. It's the
421.849 billion.
2010 statistics in annual sales.
The Walton family is the richest family in the world, with a combined wealth of $93 billion, according to Forbes' 2011 billionaires list. They inherited the wealth, but apparently not the values of Bud and Sam Walton, founders of the world's biggest retailer.
Walmart is the glaring example of inequality, and for 50 years it has helped legitimize an economy benefiting the interests of a few wealthy executives at the expense of working people.
This year, as you and your company mark your 50th anniversary and celebrate the values of, quote, hard work, entrepreneurship, and the American dream, we remember and pray for the 2.2 million Walmart workers across this nation and around the world who are paid poverty wages while having to work in dangerous environments with limited access to insurance and benefits.
As people of faith and conscience, we call on Walmart to share its corporate wealth with workers by recognizing their right to receive a living wage, benefits that include paid vacation and holidays, and the safe work conditions.
So,
How many billions are they worth? 93 billion?
so let me introduce you to the Walmart family.
Working hard for triple figures.
We busted out the installation last night.
My brother.
There was like hand found a hole in the lace table cut.
Solidarity!
Solidarity!